Here's a great idea for your next outing. A cruise of the L.A. Harbor on a Spirit Cruises yacht. Spirit Cruises offers everything you need to relax and enjoy your time on the water. For more information, call 310-548-8080 or visit spiritmarine.com.
Well, welcome to another edition of Living Out Loud. I'm Barbara Venezia, and I'm here with my co-host, Rene Horsch.
Hey, Barbara, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. You know, our first guest on this episode is Josh Flagg from $1 Million Listing Los Angeles.
I know, he's all kinds of fun. He's very
funny.
And
you know, he sold over $1 billion worth of property. Top 10 real estate agent in Los Angeles, and has become the #1 volume agent and the #2 agent in sales in the area. In the first half of 2015, his bio says he sold $147 million in property. So that, and he also has celebrity clients, Hollywood's biggest names like Merv Griffin and Adam Levine. Josh, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, Josh, it's Rene. How are you?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Very well. Thank you so much for being on our show today.
Okay, I'm here.
You're here. So what's new in the world of real estate that you can tell us that's happening in Los Angeles?
Well, the market is hotter than it's ever been. It's, people thought it was going to slow down, but it just keeps getting hotter and hotter. Clients of mine always say, well, maybe I should wait until it cools down, but they've missed the boat because it just gets more and more expensive. For instance, I just bought a house myself a couple months ago, a personal house for myself, and I just closed escrow yesterday.
Oh, congratulations.
And it was a lot more money than I paid for it, and it was the exact same house that I bought 2.5 months ago.
So what's the average home price in the market you deal in, and how long are these high-end homes staying on the market before they sell?
Well, I mean, the average is probably technically not as much as you would think, because that takes into account a lot of apartments and condos and that kind of stuff. But I mean, if you're just talking about what I normally do on a typical day, everything is, from 5 to, 20 million.
Now, did the downturn in the economy have an effect on the high-end real estate market that you're in?
You mean 5 years ago, or you mean right now?
Well, 5 years ago.
Well, of course, everything slowed down. You could buy lots of things at 50 cents on the dollar. But the thing is, I don't think that's ever going to happen again, because things are so cheap in comparison to other places in the country. In comparison with New York, Palm Beach, the Hamptons, even London, things are really cheap in Los Angeles. And so for that reason, I think that even if the market does slow down, it's going to maintain itself here in Los Angeles and maybe even keep going up until it reaches prices that are equivalent in those other markets that I said.
So how did you get into the high-end real estate business in Los Angeles?
I started when I was 18 years old. I was still in high school, but I was old enough to be licensed as a broker. And I was selling houses, and I'm sitting on my telephone in math class and texting the whole time, trying to put deals together.
That's great.
So you just had this natural attraction to real estate.
I like architecture, I like design, and I like people. And if you put, add 1 + 1 + 1 = 3, and if you figure that you love those kind of things, it turns out that you would that's really equals a real estate agent.
So $1 Million Listing Los Angeles. How did you get the gig on that? Was the show your idea? Did Bravo approach you?
No, the show was on the air 1 year prior for me coming. I'm the youngest by age cast member, but I'm the longest. I'm the oldest cast member in terms of how many years I've been doing it, which is now probably about 9 years.
Wow, that's
the other
great.
cast members, I think, the longest is maybe 4 years, 5 years.
So how did they find you? Did you find them?
I found them, actually, because the way they had it before was really it was like 10 agents per episode, and it was a totally different format. And then they cast for 3 young agents in town, and I just happened to call them. And I said, let me come in and do an interview, and they recorded me, and then they sent it off to Andy Cohen, and that was that.
We Barbara and I are big fans of Andy Cohen, so we're like, yeah, that's
We've
great.
had a lot of Bravo people on our show. Yeah.
Right.
So with the show being such a big success, has it helped your business in real estate, or has it taken time away from that?
Yeah, it takes a lot of time away from it, but I don't know what it would have been like had I not done the show. So I would assume that it very much helped my career.
Oh, that's great. I saw an episode. It must have been last week or 2 weeks ago, where you and the other two guys, the English guys that you're with, that you're partnered with, that you guys went door to door, like trying to see like those old crummy houses that are the land is valued so much, but the house is obviously a dump. I thought that was really fascinating because there are so many crappy little houses all over like that Beverly Center area that you could really clean up those neighborhoods. I mean, I know. Seriously. I know. I mean, I drive through those streets all the time. I'm like, God, that should be bulldozed. That should be bulldozed. Do those like
aren't you snotty?
No, I'm not. But I mean, like, no, they're like eyesores. They really are, and it's like they're sitting like you. I mean, your episode was about that, and you're talking about how these lots are like worth what, $1.5–2 million.
Yeah, on the low side.
On the low side. Oh, wow. So when you go up to a home like that, is that a house that's been in somebody's family for like generations?
Probably. I mean, I wouldn't say to the person, "Hey, I want a house bulldozed," but I would say, I might have a potential buyer for it. But I haven't done door knocking in years, and that was just kind of a fun thing we did that one time.
Yeah.
So for listeners who are thinking about selling their home, what advice do you give to somebody when they're about to sell their home?
What advice do I give to people before they sell their home? I usually say, what are you prepared to do when the house sells? Where are you going? What are your needs? How much can you have? How much can you spend? And about that kind of stuff.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of crazy stuff with the homes that you sell and the neighborhoods you sell. Have you ever walked in somebody's home that on the outside is just great and on the inside isn't? And
doesn't measure up.
Usually, if people have bad taste, not as well as on the end.
I didn't hear you. You were breaking up.
I said usually when someone has bad taste, it's on the outside as well as the inside. So
it is.
I would really be able to figure that out very quickly.
What do you like the most about being on $1 Million Listing?
Well, I mean, a lot of good gigs. A lot of perks that come with the show. A lot of fun parties. A lot of fun. Going to New York all the time for business. That kind of stuff.
I was looking at your website, and I see that you also do some leased homes. There was one home on your website for $90,000 a month.
Yeah, that's in Beverly Park.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, I mean the amount of money is staggering. Who is the customer that would lease a $90,000 month?
Well, that particular home I actually leased to Adele a couple months ago. She was in that house.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Whoa. And I saw you have one on St. Ives Place.
St. Ives Place.
It was.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that one too. That's I haven't leased that one yet, but that would be a lot of foreigners are interested in leasing. A lot of celebrities.
So the typical renter for these properties, how long do they generally stay? Is it a year? Is it
usually for
a few months?
Although I get calls, usually about a year. Although I get calls all the time for short-term rentals, but I usually turn them down because it's too much work and there's no money in it.
Well, it says that you have a list of celebrity clients. Anyone come to mind who you really enjoyed working with?
No, none of them.
Was anyone worse than the others?
No. Although I really enjoyed working with Robert Lamb. He was the keyboardist for Chicago, the band.
Okay.
I really liked Robert Lamb. He was great. And Steve Aoki. He was actually interesting to deal with. He was nice.
Okay. And so what can we anticipate seeing on $1 Million Listing this season?
Well, there's going to be a really good season finale, and I hope what you've seen so far is pretty good.
Actually, it's been really great. I loved the other episode where you guys put the mermaid in the pool. The house actually looked really great, but I was really surprised with its surrounding neighborhood. And the backyard had that apartment building that was like, So who buys a beautiful house like that? And then
that was bought by over a couple who actually had never seen the house. And now that I think about it, that was probably a good thing.
Yeah, because I would think if I were spending that kind of money on a beautiful home, you'd want your surrounding neighborhood to kind of reflect that,
exactly.
Right? So,
well, maybe it'll catch up.
Oh, yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, hey, Josh, thank you so much for calling in today. We really appreciate it, and we're going to look forward to watching more of you on $1 Million Listing.
You got it.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Bye for now.
All right, take care. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was great.
Isn't that fun?
That
Yeah.
was another fun edition of Living Out Loud.
All right, I'm Rene
Until
Horsch.
And I'm Barbara Venezia. Until next time.